Hey, welcome back, everyone. We have reached the finale of the first day of Juneteenth GDQ HotFix, and I am super excited to announce Hades 2 on a steering wheel. Okay, look, I know I'm the new host here and everything like that. You just gotta haze the new host and all that sort of stuff. I get it. Haha, very funny back it. I'm receiving another note here. Let's see. It's real. You're fired. Please just get on with the show. I don't know who that's for. I really can't read anyway. So we'll go ahead and switch transitions to screens here, and we'll go see the Hades 2 allegedly on steering wheel controller showcase by Thormungandr. So take it away, friend.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome on in. My name is Thormungandr. I'm an alternative controller challenge runner of games like Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Cuphead, Alien Isolation, Hades 2, and so much more on things like DK bongos, DDR pads, steering wheels, just to name a few. And today we're going to be doing the world's, as far as I know, first run for GDQ on a steering wheel, unless there's an alternate universe one somewhere. But I'm joined today by many lovely people, the wonderful ashsaidhi, Pleasantly Twisted, and also master speedrunner cypherin as well. So please welcome them in with the same gusto that we are right now. And why don't we start in that order? Why don't you introduce yourselves?
I don't remember who you said first.
It was Ash.
You go first.
Okay, no, Ash, you got it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ash, and I'm really excited to be here to see this awesome Hades 2 run. Thanks for watching the Juneteenth Black Excellence speedrunning, and thanks for being with us.
I think I was second. Was I second?
You were second.
Yeah, you
My
were.
brain is fried. Okay, I'm just gonna go because I just took up all that space. Hi, I'm back. It's Pleasantly Twisted. I also like Hades a lot, and so I'm here to support Thor. I'm here to remind everyone that this is one of two events that we run here on GDQ, twitch.tv/gamesandquick, and we appreciate all of you being here to watch this fantastic steering wheel run.
And cypherin.
And yeah, hello, cypherin here. I ran Batman earlier, and I'm 1/4 of the River City Girls 2 runners that got another PB world record earlier, keeping the momentum going.
Claps in the chat.
How dare you, 1/3? How dare you? But yeah, no, yeah, just so grateful to be here. Also, just sort of subbing in for another great runner, J-Rock the God, who was unfortunately not able to make it in tonight. But hopefully I can help provide remotely what J-Rock would bring, which is always awesome energy. So yeah, again, glad to be aboard.
And
that's right.
Special thanks to J-Rock again. They were going to be here with ashsaidhi earlier, but we got some lovely peeps as well, and we're going to have a blast no matter who's in the commentating seat. So without further ado, I do have one other thing to point your attention to. We have pedals, not just the steering wheel. That's right. We're going to be controlling part of this game with our feet. So if you've never played Hades before, you've never seen it, we're going to be controlling a lot of our movements. But in the meantime, allow me to go ahead and get this run set up. We're going to start with a death right here at the beginning of the game, just so we can get this as unseated. So if you see me die, that is why, and we're going right on into it. So
First question, unseated, what does that mean?
So unseated means that our run is not going to be, it's not going to be fixed, meaning I don't know any of the details coming up. It's great if you're just trying to do stuff without further knowledge, and yeah, I just need to die, and I just remembered how it's going to work. So, you know what? I'm actually going to switch this and just go to this. This should still be unseated, but I'm just going to start it because I realized I made a mistake in how this starts. And I have way too many death defies. So, let's get started.
I was like, this is taking them a long time to get you dead. I need them to get better on the clock. What's going on?
Right? Now, okay, I'm going to start this out. We're going to start with a cloud bangle right here. This is essentially going to allow us to seat our run as soon as it actually gives me the bangle. And we're going to go from here. I'm going to start with the Underworld first. We'll be going through both runs, Underworld and Surface, for all of you wonderful peeps. And here we go. Start the timer right now. And
woo, let's go. Woo!
All right, so I'm going to get this set up for this real quick. We are going to be focusing primarily on Zeus boons for our run. I'm going to be focusing on two specific boons, mainly the Storm Ring and also the Lightning Lance, both from Zeus. I'll be using the Charon Axe as it gives me extra time with my cast from 2 seconds to 5 seconds. And this is going to allow us to trap our enemies in lightning for a long period of time. And while those enemies are dying, I'm going to drop those kids off of the pool and kill the other enemies with the axe. But that's the primary focus for this run. We are going to just focus on the Zeus boons and nothing else really except powering, getting health, and magic. But that's the setup for a run. That's how we're doing it. And let's continue on.
So
for
one
anyone-
of the things. Oh, go ahead,
Oh, go
Ash, 'cause
ahead,
I know
go
you
ahead.
got a question. I was gonna
No,
say
'cause I
for
was gonna
people.
say-
Go-
Go ahead,
no.
go ahead,
Okay,
sorry.
so I was gonna say for people who've played Hades 1, all of this is gonna be really new and interesting to you because in Hades 1, your cast was limited to just the casting shard that you had. So one of the big things that Hades 2 is bringing in is going to be that secondary circle because that isn't even like the primary casting, and that's kind of the cool thing about it. But I am happy to report that Spin to Win is back. We did have some spinning to win in the first one. And I'm glad to see Supergiant said everyone loves a good spin to win. That was all I wanted to add.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. Good stuff, BT. I was just gonna say for anybody who's never played this and because I didn't know what a boon was. That's basically those power-ups that you get, which makes the game what we call the roguelite, like those effects. Like every time you play, you get a different power-up. So
And
what
one,
that
of,
is, yeah.
and one of the things that's going to be important about this run, because again, Thor went in and has no idea what's going to be coming in. So Thor doesn't have just 3 boons to pick from. It's going to be a mass table of Thor boons that you can get. And depending on other things that Thor is going to be doing, if Thor decides to pick up additional boons in any way, shape, or form, which again, I don't know, and if something good comes up that might be helpful, that may be something that happens. You can also get things like duet kind of boons, where it's Thor plus another god. You can kind of have the gods fight amongst themselves and they can take away each other's boons. You can kind of scratch out a boon you don't like. There's a whole lot of versatility and variety. Also, best new character design, just throwing that out there.
I love her vitiligo skin. Just the fact that they actually
wonderful.
put that in as a trait in this game to me is absolutely wonderful. Continue
So
on.
kind of going into what I was going to explain, if a boon comes up that's Thor plus Hestia, that's something that Thor can take advantage of. And usually what that does is it'll take the move of one person and give it kind of the amplifying power of the second person. So you might see a lightning bolt that gets like some bonus fire damage, or you might see something that Hestia does that can get a little bit of a shock buffer from Thor, because Thor's stuff obviously is lightning. And so it'll give you extra stuff.
Ooh, hello there. We're going to go for that. Also, I ended up going for a Hestia boon because there is one thing in particular in this run that is very, very useful for me, and that's the Soot run. Essentially, this allows me to eliminate enemy projectiles, which is very great for late game, especially when there's a bunch of stuff being thrown just by running. That'll probably be one of the few boons that I really try and focus on, and especially since they just recently released a patch that pretty much changes the amount of boons you're likely to encounter during a run from 3 to 4. I'm going to be focusing really hard on trying to limit how far the RNG goes outside of that, primarily still sticking to Zeus. This is where I get into one extra aspect of this run, which is going to be the amount of rerolls I have to get rid of boons I don't need. And for those of you that don't know what rerolls are, that's essentially going to be saying, oh, I got an item or a reward that I don't like for a room coming up. Well, we're going to switch it to something else. Sometimes this is going to be better, sometimes this is going to be worse. You can't really know until you get it. So there's a lot to unpack there. And let's see. Ooh, I don't want to get rid of that. We're just going to take this. It's useless. But continue on.
So right now, I'm going back and forth between the gameplay and watching you. Like, how difficult was it to learn the game with alternative controls here for you?
So I'll put it like this, because I want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, Nico Hart, who is actually the person. They are a fantastic speedrunner who's done events from ESA, GDQ, and more. And they were actually the ones who taught me how to use this steering wheel. A couple years ago, we started doing this thing called the Hades 500 as a way to kind of poke fun at the Indy 500 and say, well, we're both going to race Hades 1 on a steering wheel. And we got our communities together, had a big event out of it, and it was fantastic. Well, we decided that when Hades 2 was going to drop, we would do this. And so I already knew how to actually map out Hades 2 for this, because it's pretty much almost the same. But when you're starting with alternative controllers, it's actually pretty daunting, because you have to teach your brain how to think about playing games differently, where things are, where motion is, even the travel time of your fingers, your hands, and more compared to what a regular controller affords you. For instance, on the steering wheel, I don't get analog sticks. I also have to sacrifice various buttons that I'm going to be using depending on the game. If I'm doing Elden Ring, I might not have an option for say a special attack. If I'm doing alien isolation, I might have to keep really close eye on just how I use my radial menus because I generally don't have those things available. And that becomes really tricky. But basically, the more you map games, the more you realize what works well with what games, especially when it comes to over-the-top 3D games or 2D games. Like Hollow Knight plays completely different on the steering wheel than, say, Hades does. And Hades is going to run entirely different than, say, Alien Isolation or Elden Ring. So it really depends on the game and how much time you're willing to put into learning about this. My first
That's
game...
crazy imagining Hollow Knight with the steering wheel for me. That's blowing my mind.
The Pantheons are ridiculous.
Menuing must be like a whole nother problem that you got to learn how to solve.
Yep, and weirdly enough, the one thing that comes down to menuing is if a menu doesn't allow you to actually use your D-pad for stuff. Some menus only allow you to use your analog stick, and you wouldn't think this would be a huge issue, but it actually completely destroys some runs because it means I might have to have an alternative mapping. So it can become pretty crazy really quick depending on the game. It just depends on which ones. And also, we are on the first boss. She is almost melted. We're going to just focus on taking out enemies and using our terrain to our advantage to block a lot of attacks. But also, because of the nature of this, I can actually lay down these traps and just take care of multiple enemies at once, wait for her to dissipate, and she'll pretty much die the minute that my cast over here goes away. So we're just going to do this and spin to win. 3, 2, 1, and she moved. You are awful. She was like, you thought you were gonna win? Not yet.
Oh, so what just happened here is actually one of my favorite things. I didn't get to talk about it, but you got to be polymorphed into a sheep. And I don't think anyone understands how frustrating that is when you're playing, but how when you're watching, it's like the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever.
I loved it. I loved just seeing it just now.
It's so amazing. It is honestly one of my favorites. Now, we're going to switch our boon real quick. I need to make sure, but I'm going to switch to Silver Wheel because this is going to give us a lot more magic. So that way, when we use up our magic, I don't really have to worry too much. We're at full health, so I'm not going to worry about that. We have plenty of gold. So we continue on to the next level. This is probably my most difficult level because so much can happen here and there are so many enemies. But I'm just going to focus on seeing if we can get more Zeus boons. Otherwise, though, our build is actually complete. We don't need any other boons with the exception of increasing our main attack power. So that's going to be my thing, is seeing if we can get either Apollo, Aphrodite, or Zeus boons to accentuate the fact that we are already doing lightning damage. And here we go.
I was like, getting Apollo right now would be powerful. And then even something like a Hermes, because I'm very much someone that, as a designated Dex kid, apparently, in the Soulsborne games, I am always here to hit faster, not harder, because I understand my hits aren't that hard, but I still hit you 5 times in 1 second, and that's fun. I think that's more entertaining. So that's something else. And I know a lot of GDQ people who are in chat are very, very familiar with Hades, but for those of you who are not, the way that Thor is going to try and ensure that they focus on mostly leveling up the Thor boons that they have is going to be those wonderful, delicious, fantastically drawn pomegranates, because those will always give you a chance to level up one of your 3 power-ups that you're using. So right now, while we're going through this run, Thor also has to make some really, really tough decisions, because if some really nice boons, like Hermes just pulled up, and we love that for us, if some really nice boons start coming in, that's cool, but in terms of powering things up, that becomes a problem, because true to roguelike fashion, the more boons that you have to power up, the more options that can populate the pool, and it's only going to give you an option between 3.
And this, to add into what you just said, this is why we have so many different rerolls for a run, so I can make sure that if I am getting stuff that's not good for my run, I can try and re-roll it. We're going to get Save Breath right here because it reduces the amount of magic it takes for our actual run, and we love a good hammer. We love a hammer. I'm Thor. Of course we love a hammer. So we're going to grab that and boom, right on in here. Look at that damage. That's a lot of damage.
Wow.
I was like, getting rid of all of those shields right away is real powerful. Real powerful, because the shields, even in the completed first game, are probably the biggest bane of a lot of people's existence, because if your build is built on just damage and you don't take into account armor break, you just sit there and you're just like tapping at shield for so long, and it's so frustrating, and it wears down on you even in casual play.
And speaking of Apollo, by the way, we just got Apollo and we got a Palm that allowed us to update our Zeus ring. So we're going to be, or Storm ring. So we're going to be doing even more damage. And you're going to watch. Oh man, really, Nemesis? We got to do this here. I love you and you're wonderful, but do we really? You're not taking that. For those of you who don't know what just happened there's a character named Nemesis who literally will come in and just take certain rooms from you to limit your stuff if you do not act quick. So I've had to get very acclimated with actually doing exactly that. But one last thing before I go quiet for a little bit. The reason why I chose Apollo is because if you notice now, look how my attack takes up half the screen. This is added on to another thing of Charon's axe, where essentially if you have a level 5, your attack is 30% bigger on top of the 40% we just got. So it takes up about a good quarter of the screen. I don't have to be near an opponent to actually get my damage in.
Sorry, I was messing with people in chat because I lied to you, Thor. I don't really thirst after the gods, but Nemesis is her. Nemesis is her. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right, so
is there a god that's like very terrible that you don't want to encounter, like their boons and all that?
For me, Hephaestus, because Hephaestus doesn't really do anything productive for my build. Any of the others I can really work around as long as I don't get them as my cast. Also, we are on one of my favorite bosses of the game, the singing boss, Scylla, or as my friend Nico likes to say when people have trouble in games, Scylla issue, which I love. I want that on a shirt. And this is a really easy boss to take out. We're going to just focus on taking down one of these at a time, but placing our cast in between two of them where we can, and just rolling the dice, so to speak. This allows us to take down these two and then focus on the guitarist, who's probably my more problematic one because I generally forget how to do things against her. And she should be down now. And now we're gonna wait. Featured artist is the guitarist. I'm gonna focus on the drummer, which is always my key thing. And this allows me to just take out the field altering attacks because she has some wide area of effect attacks that just stink to deal with, like this one right here. So there we go. And that's the game plan. And she's dead. Now we're gonna get this one.
And while Thor is focusing on finishing up the fight, I wanted to ask you, cypherin, did you play the first Hades?
I have, but I haven't fully beat it. Like I've gotten to Hades a number of times and I've killed them and then, done extra runs, but I have not fully beaten the game just yet. So
the only reason I ask is because I was going to make a comment about you asking about bad boons, and I know that universally people still hate Poseidon.
Really? I thought Poseidon was great in the first one.
It's a really interesting dynamic because I also think Poseidon is fine, but Hades is the kind of game that you really have to think about how the boons interact with one another. But I also have biased because I was with Hades from day one of early access, so I got to see the full scale of what Poseidon was and what he became. Also, what are you picking here, Thor?
So right here, I'm going to look at what I have. Normally, I'd pick Black and Fleece, but in this case, because I don't really have a need for it, I'm going to stick on the Silver Wheel. It allows me to just continue replenishing magic and not really have to worry about running out in the middle and having to hide away. So we still have 504 gold, which will leave us plenty of room for when we get to Charon's shop. And this is partially thanks to the Arcana card that we get that increases our starting gold to around, I think it's 300, but I might be wrong. But yep, and for the last stage, I'll be picking that lucky gold tooth because we're going to need an extra Deathify as a safety. But there we go. And that was that boss. We're going to focus on these fields next. This part isn't too bad, but it can get pretty rough in the right circumstances. Right before we actually did this run, I was practicing and I got no damage upgrades, and that ended up being pretty scary. Let's see.
I feel like any run where like they're just holding the hammers and the boons you need hostage, you're just like, I am begging you, please. I just want to live.
I am once again asking you for your boon support.
And after a bit, you're just like, you get to this area and you're like, I am no longer asking.
Now, let me ask all of you, what are your favorite Hades characters? Whether you know the game or not, who, and chat, this goes for you too. Who's your favorite? Like God, regular enemy, regular mainline character, who is it? I want to know. There we go.
So I've always been a very big Artemis fan. I love her to pieces. with second going to Dusa. I have the Dusa plushie that talks to you. Those are probably my top two. But again, I haven't played this in earnest yet because I think early access in the first run, I was like, I don't know if I could do early access again. But I have been watching from the sidelines, and I do know that Nemesis is probably going to be one of my favorites.
Fantastic. Cypherin, what about you? And this can be characters from Hades 1 or Hades 2, either or.
I remember, so it's been a minute since I played Hades 1, so some of the characters leave me, but I do remember liking Aphrodite's power-ups whenever I played. And then I liked, I don't remember her name, but the main character, his name is Zagreus, right?
Yes.
His mom. I thought his mom was an interesting character. Not his mom who's above land. After you beat Hades, you go see her, but the one who raised him. In
Nyx?
Yes. I think it's Nyx. Yeah.
There
But
we
then
go.
again, that remember, I haven't beat Hades 1, so I don't know if she could turn out to be like some horrible person. I have no idea.
I'm going to just say it. I honestly think my favorite character in this game so far has been Echo and Dora. I think it is. I love Dora. Dora is just hilarious and wonderful. Ash, what about you, by the way?
I mean, I didn't get a chance to play a lot of the first game. I do have it on my Switch, but I remember thinking that Cerberus was really cute.
Yes. Oh, man. I love Cerberus. He's the best.
Yeah, Cerberus is cool.
I'm not sure.
How's
I
that?
know I saw some Halion fans in the chat earlier, but if you got
I was
any
just about to
Cerb
say we've got
emotes-
some Knicks fans in chat. Actually, we got a lot of Knicks fans in chat. We got
Yeah,
the
I'm
Dora
not
mention.
alone. I'm not alone.
We've got Dusa. Mel is my BB girl. And then from Blue Satire, I think the correct answer is all of them. all of them. You making me pick Nar. All of them. But yes, where are the Cerberus emotes? Do we have any of those? Do we have any Hades emotes, actually?
Oh, I
feel
know
like
we
someone...
do.
I know someone out there got Hades emotes. If people got Hades tattoos, I know we got Hades emotes.
Oh my god. Man, the art in this game is just insane. I remember seeing this and just thinking like, oh my god, we actually have a game where the character designs are just hot fire and everything about the game is hot fire. Like this was Hades 1 was my game of the year. And whenever this releases, I have a feeling Hades 2 is going to very easily be my game of the year for whatever year truly releases in. So lots of good.
Is there a release date for this? No, right?
Before
No, I don't think so.
2024, I believe, or before 2025, I think they were saying. So they're trying to get it out before the end of the year. So hopefully. All right.
I would say asking for some love for Red Shade. And I do have to give a special shout out to Chaos. I liked the first iteration, but the second iteration, you got to really look at it because it's a really cool design. Also, I don't know who has an emote of Hecate's abs, but I can't do it because we're on GDQ, but know that internally I am screaming. Hecate's abs as an emote is wild work.
Oh man, I'm willing to bet that's a Halion emote. I'm willing to bet.
It is... Yes, it's a Halion emote.
Called it.
Oh my god.
Oh man. And so I know people are going to ask right now, like, how do I get the steering wheel working? How do you use it for different games? So one of the things I'll say is you see these pedals right up here. These pedals actually control my forward and my backward movement. The steering wheel controls my left and my right. And then there are buttons on the wheel, but I lose out on a lot of things because unfortunately I don't have enough buttons for everything. So I end up having to map my entire D-pad as an actual mouse simply for aiming purposes. And that can be pretty tight sometimes because it's really not as accurate as aiming in a mouse or even a regular analog stick. You end up getting a lot of directly pointed directions and more. And but otherwise, majority of some of the controls do remain the same. But I've had to map out my cast and my main attack a little bit differently because unfortunately, the travel time between the buttons makes it too hard for me to actually press it correctly to get the cast off in the first place. So I actually had to change the overall placement on the steering wheel since certain buttons are not close to each other or not in proper spaces that make reaching them easy. This boss, by the way, is Cerberus, taken over by annoying red shades. And don't worry, Puppy will be okay. I want to say that right now before anybody gets really sad. But
I was gonna ask Ash if Cerberus was still cute at this moment.
Well, you see about that, right?
wow, Ash, I thought all puppers were cute. I thought all were
puppers are cute.
Except Cerberus.
God dang.
You can say it. You're safe here. I'll defend you. You can say it. You don't think Cerberus in this iteration is cute. It's fine.
Meet me in the parking lot after stream. There we go. And so for this part of the phase, this is actually my least favorite part of the entire run, is these little intestinal blockages, we'll call them, that they're throwing down and exploding on me because I always run over them by accident. And they end up just like that. And they cost me a lot of health. So I'm just going to be very careful as I try not to step into Cerberus's area. And we're just going to try and stay behind him using our Apollo and go from there. And I'm going to finish up this fight so you peeps have the floor.
This fight right here makes me want like some kind of animation for Hades. Like it's just when I mean, you know, like either
Like
a
a
movie,
cartoon.
a cartoon movie, an anime,
Yeah.
something done, of course, in the style that the game already provides. But it's just these attacks are incredible. Just how well they've been drawn and just animated. It's just so good to me.
I
There we
agree.
go.
I really feel like that style is so suited to like some kind of TV, video, movie, something.
Yeah.
Also, just like this battle, it is hot. Please hydrate.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to... Oh, we got shout out to Eurydice and Orpheus. It's in the Blood might be the greatest video game song ever. Was that, not Hades, you're Thor. Thor, do you recall if that was done with Ashley Barrett and Darren Korb? Is that a Darren Korb and Ashley Barrett song?
Honestly, I can't remember, and that kills me to say because I absolutely love it. Now, just a real quick interruption. I'm going to choose the luckier tooth. Sorry, not Skelly, Skelemaeus, the obviously more attractive looking skeleton. We're going to choose their luckier tooth and use that as a safety for a death defy. But honestly, I don't remember if it was Darren Korb and Ashley, and I wish I could.
I know that they're usually like the power duo for most of the Supergiant OSTs. Someone in chat just confirmed it. Yes, it is. I had to double check and make sure because if I'm gonna have a squirt tattoo on my arm, I feel like I should know that knowledge. So
Also, just a quick thing. So normally during this phase, you can get a bunch of extra boons that you can use to power you up for the Cronus fight. I am not going to be doing that. We are actually going to just go through this and make sure that we just cut those out entirely. We're going to go directly to Cronus. And this is because, one, it just adds on time. And two, it's just much easier, in my opinion, to just go straight to Cronus if you already have a decent build. If you're going through the game for the first time, you're like, oh man, I'm really having trouble with this, because you haven't leveled up Arcana cards or anything, it's probably a good idea to go through those rooms to get a super powerful build or extra gold if you need stuff from the shop. But in my case, we're just going to skip that. I'm also going to do a little bit of an overview on these enemies real quick. The satyrs are absolute butt. Take them out the minute you see them. They are kill on sight. Okay, they summon rats. They'll bring horrible friends to your next Thanksgiving. And frankly, they're just terrible at everything they do, and they will swarm you.
oh,
Yep.
Not to Thanksgiving though. Jeez.
So
right. Well, that's just disruptive.
let's see. Okay, so I'm going to take Deep Descent here, which is going to reduce the amount of enemies on Cronus by 50%. I don't always go for this during my runs, but it's just a simple room that I can go into, get some extra stuff, and it makes it makes Cronus way more doable in my opinion, so I'm just focusing on that. Go. God, having that reduction from Hermes on our cast is absolutely amazing right now.
Hermes is a very good boy, and I love his redesign for this game too.
But the nice thing is we're actually making great time on this for our run. Because normally I think the fastest I've managed to do this for in-game time is around 22 minutes or so. And right now we're at 17 minutes. So if I can get there with the next couple minutes, we might actually be able to PB this.
Nice.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
What does that mean? Is that going to be our fourth or third PB for the day? Because we opened up with one. We had the River City Girls one. That would be I think that would be number 3 then for the day. I could be wrong. I don't know. Again, my brain is literally a pile of cottage cheese in a blender. I don't remember anything at this point.
And cottage cheese sounds good right now, though. I like it.
Oh my god, my brain is just mush.
Now, these enemies are a little bit annoying, and this is why I'm really glad I have the... Oh. There we go. Insert meme generation here.
Oh my god.
I'm expecting...
Does that really
Incredible.
Go on.
is that really how you have to get out of it? Like, that's how your wheel is set up. You literally have to drive like the April O'Neil meme.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
I'm sad you beat me to it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm a distraction. Oh my Jesus.
That's good. That's good.
You know, I'd say no
That's
backseat
wonderful.
driving, but in this case, I think it's warranted.
Oh my god. Oh, it's your favorites.
I know, all 3 of them, all here for the party. We got Time Stopper, we got Plague Carrier, and we got Mr. Pokey Spear. Okay, sit down. There we go. Now, Ash, you had some pretty good questions. I know we were talking a little bit before stream, but you had some very good questions previously. Do you want to ask any of those now?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about, well, first of all, I love the idea that every time you go through a door, it's like dictating what different power up you can get and how, you know, even the direction you take can change the way that you play the game. And to me, that's awesome because it makes me want to play the game over and over again. So are there like certain routes that you usually always try to take whenever you see them?
Depending on what kind of weapon I'm using or what I'm trying to accomplish, absolutely. I think that's one of the amazing things about the flexibility of Hades is you can kind of lock yourself into a weapon and say, okay, these are the things I'm comfortable with. Let me see if we can get these to appear, and then give you ways to manipulate the RNG enough where you really have a lot of flexibility to say, I want to go through a fun run, or I just want to do something completely random where I don't know what's going on. The power of this game is the more knowledge you have, the more you play it, the more you learn, the better you will do at your runs. And I know that kind of sounds like, oh yeah, duh. But the truth is, you're using a lot of the resources that you get throughout the levels to upgrade your Arcana cards, you're using them to upgrade your weapons, and it truly does add to the flexibility compared to very early game where you don't really have a lot, and it is pretty darn difficult. So... yeah. But there's always, like in this case, I'm using the Moon Axe right now, and I will always choose Zeus because I know I can blitz through any enemy in the game with it without issue. There we go. Or like when I'm using Aspect of Pan for the daggers that they have in this, I'll use Poseidon because he completely destroys any enemy in my path, including bosses.
That is so cool.
Can
I really love this
piggyback?
axe, by the way.
Can I piggyback off of Ash's question about the doors really fast?
No. Yes.
Okay. So I'm noticing with this area that the doors don't really have those symbols like Ash has pointed to. They have Roman numerals.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So beforehand, remember when we came into this area and I said that we were going to skip to get right to Chronos immediately? So essentially in this area, we are in Hades' old... We're in Hades' old domain, and essentially, this is giving you the option to go through extra doors, like the one on the left here, where I could say, oh, I want power-ups, or I can just say, I don't need anything, let me just rush to the boss. So in this case, we're just shortcutting our overall, progress and saying, we don't need upgrades, let's just continue on. I'm gonna re-offer real quick since we're at the end here, see if I can get anything, and we're just going to go one more time. Yeah, that should be... There we go. Second strike. I'm going to get a double palm here. We're going to upgrade this twice. But did that answer your question?
It mostly answered it because I saw that there was like the hourglass, and that makes perfect sense for like pausing time or like the seed of time. It was interesting to me because I saw some of them had like 1s and 2s and 3s, and I was like, I just want to know what's behind the door.
So
Please
those
don't
are
do
like
this.
a countdown. So it's counting down the
Got
rooms
it.
until Chronos. My apologies. And
No, you're fine.
we are now on Chronos. This is the boss that can make or break a run if you are not powerful enough. being in this boss is difficult because one, he's not affected by attacks that slow down, such as how I'm using my Omega moves right now, and he will continue to attack you. He's also very long range, so I try and really rely on my Zeus cast a lot here, simply so that I can take out as much of my health as possible from afar from him. When he's doing attacks like this, I'm going to try and go in from the back, but I never try and take him on from the front because he will punish me as a result. So there we go. Like a good neighbor, stay over there. Thank you.
Wow.
All right.
Oh my God.
So
That
we got
I'm
was good.
stealing that.
go for
Yeah.
it. I need to put that on a shirt.
Yeah, so I was like, that's a shirt worthy thing. Just like a good neighbor, stay over there.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to focus because this battle's about to get a lot more intense, so the floor is yours.
So if it isn't already evident, if you're trying not to be spoiled about Hades, now is a good time to maybe minimize. Don't close it, just minimize it and come back in a couple of minutes when Thor says, "Yay, we did it," or something to that effect. I don't think Thor would say that specifically, but we need to talk about his color aesthetic for a second because it might be because I have Elden Ring on the brain, but his color palette is giving me a lot of Elden Ring energy, and then the way that he leaves swipes and stuff that explode, I'm like, so were you taking lessons from Malekith, or what are we?
I mean, they're both throwing holy blades, so you know they're cousins. They're talking. They're just like, "Yo, what's up? I heard you."
They're second cousins, yeah.
Yup. Man, all right. Now we're gonna get the banners. No? Okay, cool. Seder Bros, let's go. Time to die.
Oh, armored ones too.
Yep.
At least there's only one and not two. With that boon that you have, that helps out greatly.
Yep. And this is why. So whenever he does those 2 slashes, I can kind of get in, but you really can't stay in. So I'm just gonna really try and be careful. He should be doing. No, he didn't do 3. Okay, that's a fail. Do it again. 3, 2, 1, and boom, got in and out of that. We're doing very good right now. We actually are. We didn't use any death defies, so we have 4. Unless I really screw up bad or mess up the times on this, and I'm going to give the setup for this real quick. If we don't get in that circle right now, we die. We immediately lose one of our death defies, and it's one of the hardest abilities in the game to deal with. I'm just going to focus on trying to take him from afar the same way, but we have to deal with a lot more moving aspects on the screen. If you don't like flashing lights, there's going to be a lot of that on this phase, so just letting you know. All right, there we go.
Still just taking in again the alternative controls, like seeing how you dashed into the center of that death. I don't know what do you want to call it. Just bombardment that was about to happen to you. How you're able to just hone in like on the specific places you want to go. Like I'm trying to follow your movement and just see like, okay, where can I tell that like it's a steering wheel that's sort of being played, because it's so fluid just how you're moving about. Like it looks like just from watching the game you're just using a regular controller, but it's blowing. Yeah, it's amazing, Thor. It's absolutely
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And also, just
That's what
so I do want to set something up for the people who are doing this right now, who are going to be recording this after we kill Kronos. We're going to be doing another section after this, but this will be time for the underground section once we hit what is the victory screen that shows all of your boons. So I am then going to be doing the surface run, and we'll go from there. And I'll let you know when that time will start once we're in the second run. Kronos is down. Now we wait for the victory screen. We go from there. Wait a second.
Is this your? So I have 2. I want to point out something and I want to ask something.
All right, give me 1 second. And time for this section.
GG.
So
Yes.
the first thing I want to point out is that you took an extra death defy and you used 0 of them. So powerful playing, very good job. GG's on that. 2, I see your in-game time is 24:34. Is that a PB?
It's not a PB, but I'm still very proud of it because it's still very hard to get to. So I will take it. And
very nice.
Thank you for asking, and thank you for the kind compliments. All right, everybody.
course.
So here's the thing. There's still more to this. This is where the early access technically cuts off here because there's more after this point. I don't know if they'll do more bosses or more story, but just know that there's going to be more in the early access than just this. We are going to now go to what is called the surface world. And this is going to allow us to pretty much go up top where the humans live. Instead of a land down under, we get to go to a land up top. So, you thought we were done. We're not. We got one more. We're still ahead of schedule, and I think I should be able to get through this in that amount of time.
Do you want a new timer?
Yes, I would. I would love a new timer.
Sensational.
Thank you. And just to set this up real quick, I am going to use the Cloud Bangle again. Zeus Boon is best for these steering wheel runs for me personally. We're going to continue with the Caranax. And can I be known, or can they let me know when they have a new timer up? And we will go from there. Also, while we are here in this little bit, I'm going to talk for a minute about the Twitch Black Guild, or the Twitch Black Unity Guild. It is a wonderful space on Twitch for marginalized content creators in the Black space. And, well, you know, like events like this, they're always looking for wonderful people to join, whether you're a content creator or, you know, somebody who plays games, somebody who podcasts, stuff like that. Come and join. But not only that, if you're a speedrunner and you're trying to figure out how to do this, there's many people from this community, including cypherin, ashsaidhi, and PT, who are all in there who'd love to be bridges in bringing you into stuff like this, where we can talk more about speedrunning. And all right, let's do it. And I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. But yes, look at the Twitch Black Unity Guild, and that is all. All right, there we go. So we're good to go, and we're going to start with our Zeus Boon. I'm going to do the same thing and look for Storm Ring. I'm going to hope we get it at least once soon here. There it is.
There we go.
Perfect. I did this earlier in the stream, or not earlier on the stream, earlier in the day to see how good the RNG was going to treat me today. Just like play around and practice, and I didn't get it in 10 rerolls. It was bad.
That's pain. That's actually pain.
It was awful. It was awful.
That's one of the things though with roguelikes and just RNG in general is like sometimes the RNG is like, no, you don't get to have fun today. And other days it's like, do you want all the fun? How do you feel about an axe that covers the entire screen? Sounds great, sounds wonderful. We got you.
And in that next run, they snatch it all away. Be like,
right,
let's
no
humble
damage.
You. Let's humble you.
Right, you thought you were having fun. Chill out.
Now let me give a little bit of background on this area, because this area is, oh my God, not Heracles. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, Heracles. This area is a little bit different because rather than just singular rooms, you have a bunch of rooms that you can choose from the beginning to kind of build your room from a selection of a bunch of different rooms. But this can have some downsides of you don't really, I don't know, choices can be a bit more limited. And you have to choose carefully with your rerolls. So I don't know how much I like it. All right. In this, we're just trying to get more gold. But that's all I'm going to say for now. I've been at Chatterbox. Feel free to go on.
Well, I didn't realize that this was like a whole separate section because I've been watching the streams, but I haven't been watching them super closely. And so I didn't realize that this was going to the surface, and that's what caused like the big kind of room of choices, I like to call it, because they just give you all these different doors, and it's like, so where do you want to go? And it's like, wait, you just gave me the whole spread? And it's like, yeah. So where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Pick. Decide on one. Immediately, if not, definitely.
All right, perfect. We got another Zeus Boon. I'm going to see if we can get Lightning Lance. This should be our last reroll, I think, that we'll be able to do. And there it is. Perfect.
Perfect.
So this run is now all set up. And like I said before, we don't have anything left to do for building up this entire setup other than palms, magic, and health. All right, am I good to go? Okay, cool. But, you know, the controls of this game are pretty hard.
I definitely want to +1 what cypherin was saying earlier. Like, you make this look so seamless and easy. Like, I'm not even, if I was not even paying attention, I wouldn't even think you were doing it with a steering wheel, which is so cool.
It's funny because sometimes when I am streaming, people will come in and be like, man, I've been watching. I just realized you were using a steering wheel. I'm like, yep, that's what we do.
I mean, I would be crashing into the wall right now. I wouldn't know how to get out of the corner, but like you can't tell that at all watching you. Like, you know, what movement is like, oh, it's causing me to turn this way, you know, like on the drop of a dime, you know. It's incredible.
Thank you.
So that actually brings a new question I don't think anyone's asked yet, Thor. Or you might have answered it, and again, I am like halfway brain dead, and that's very, very possible what's going to happen. How long have you been playing an assortment of video games with your steering wheel?
Oh God, with the steering wheel? God, I think it would be January 2021. And it's actually thanks to, once again, that individual named Nico Hart. I was on the Sega channel one day, chilling with them, playing Alien versus Predator and a bunch of other people, and Nico raided in. And he came in and they announced him as somebody who sped ran at world record pace Alien Isolation with a steering wheel. I'd wanted to really take a look at alternative controls for a long time before streaming, but I didn't really know how to do it. And so I reached out to him, and he was kind enough to show me the ropes. And after that, we became really good friends. We actually still collaborate to this day. And yeah, that's pretty much how it started. I think my first games were Bayonetta and Dark Souls.
So I think I saw you around the Darky Souls days of doing things and stuff. Because I know that you did Dark Souls, you did Lies of P, you've been doing Elden Ringu, and then there's just a variety of other things. And then every blue moon, I might see you playing like a regular average person. Only every blue moon though. Like it's like once every 3 months or something.
I was gonna say, I think the list of games we played easily goes over 80 or 90 different games, from Hollow Knight to Undertale to pretty much everything. Katamari, I mean,
I was happy to catch Metal Gear Solid 2.
that was a fun one.
Oh yeah, the Metal Gear. Yeah.
I'm looking
Good
forward to
stuff.
Metal Gear Solid 3 because I'm gonna map that on the steering wheel the day it comes out, and I'm so pumped to do that on the wheel.
I'm going to formally request that you run back Katamari Damacy with the wheel because I didn't see that. And as someone who loves Katamari Damacy, I think I need that in order to continue breathing.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Also, I do want to make one more shout out to one other amazing content creator who, without their help and getting some chances at GDQ this last year, I don't think one, these people right here made it possible, but also CZR Drums, the wonderful drummer speedrunner who did Super Mario 64 and allowed me to commentate on their couch. That was such an uplifting and wonderful experience, and it was really cool to get to share alternative controllers with people. So I'm glad I get a chance to do it again here.
If that's the case and you're looking to branch out, remind me at a later date that is definitely not this weekend to try and intro you to Ryudism.
I know Rudism. In fact, I think we.
Oh, sensational. Oh, wonderful. I was going to say between that and Lewis, if you didn't know those two, I was going to be like, what are we doing?
Super Lewis 64, Rudism, and yeah, they're both also legends. All wonderful controller benders in the space, and the Goody One and Dr. Decomposing, just to add on a few. All fantastic alternative controller players, from saxophones to steering wheels to potatoes, pizzas, and more. It's nuts. All right, we've got one more room. What do I want? I want the Hermes. Give me the Hermes. There we go. But, all right, so
I
one of
don't know
my...
what these men are about, but I don't like them.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
these rooms are the worst because, frankly, I lose track of myself in these. And when there's so much, I just try and bust this little orb right here that allows us to send shades at enemies, and they will do massive damage. Your cast costs less. Perfect. All right, our setup is now complete. That room's now going to be open, and we're going to go to our first boss, the Cyclops, and then we'll be off to our next area. I think we should still be good on time for the most part. And let's do this. There we go. Gonna rush in here. We're gonna get Charon's store. We're gonna see what's here real quick. This should be Palm. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. And Storm Ring, level that up as much as we can. I'm not gonna go for
we have a question for the class. We have a question from the class from our wonderful tech angel, and it says, does playing Donkey Kong Jungle Beat on a normal controller count as an alternative controller?
You know what? Yes, but
This is for chat too.
oh, gotcha.
No, it's for everybody. It's for everyone. Go ahead, by all means.
But also, why not play Hades with Donkey Kong bongos?
Oh, what?
Oh,
The bongos ready?
Just pull that out of nowhere.
Listen, anything is a controller if you believe. That's all I'm going to say.
It is 100%. 100%.
That is funny. I can't believe you just broke that out.
Wow.
But also, you dodged the question. Is that an alternative controller or not?
So you said Donkey Kong Jungle Beat? Yes. You know what? I'll allow it.
Fantastic.
Ooh, this boss is messing me up. This one jumps around a lot, and sometimes I get caught on certain aspects and end up diving on into this. But yes, totally an alternative controller. All right, this
He's
boss
going through right
I want to
now.
stay away from because frankly, he does a lot of jumping, and I am terrible at dodging the mini tremors that he puts down. So I'm kind of ignoring the enemies right now, and I'm just going to focus on laying this down and dodging out of that. There we go, and then I should be able to roll in. There it is. All right, first one. And here we go. Okay, next boss. So we have one more boss to do, and then that will be the end of the run. So let's get up here, see what we can do.
So no one's going to talk about how the Colossus had a Leon Kennedy haircut. We're just going to leave that on the table.
Oh my God, stop.
Am I wrong?
No. No, you're
Okay,
not.
I just wanted to make sure.
All right, we're going to grab this. And then-
I was just looking at all the eyes that he had on. You know, it's supposed to be a Cyclops, but it had all these eyes all around him. So
You know, that's subject to interpretation depending on who you talk to, apparently.
The risk.
All right, we're going to take
I caught
Heaven
that too,
Strike.
though.
Do I get my magic? Yes, I do. Perfect. All right, so we got very lucky there. We got a Zeus Spoon, and it gave me extra attack power towards my regular strikes. And we also managed to get some extra magic, which is going to be great for this next part, because this next part is the ships. And I'm going to be honest, this part can mess me up really badly because of all the hazards here that occur with fire and oil, as they do in the final boss for this area as well. But you're in a very narrow space, so you have to really play carefully. We're going to get more magic. And normally I'd go Hermes, but I don't want Hermes right now.
Did we talk about any differences in the story between this game and the first game?
So we can't without spoilers because this game is so massively different. So to avoid spoiling people who are watching, as I know many people don't want to know, I will refrain for now. But it is a very good story from everything I've seen and just as good as the first.
Focus.
Thor
Awesome.
protecting me.
I got you.
Because I didn't finish it. Thank you, Thor.
Of course. cypherin is sacrificing their first watch of this game by watching me play, and we greatly appreciate that.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it. And no, yeah, this is, like I said, this is incredible.
All I will say about the story, not a spoiler, is that what they've managed to do is somehow equally more impressive than everything that was done in Hades 1 with the early access. And the fact is, they're still adding a ton of new features, lots of weapons, and other things like that. So I'm just excited to see where the final product will go. Definitely be sure to support the devs. Supergiant Games does not miss. And also, I do want to take a time to say something to the person in chat. Watching makes me realize how bad I am. You're not bad, you just are still learning. There's no such thing as a bad run. As long as you are failing, you are learning, and that's okay. See,
I'll just add on top of that just how great Thor is with the steering wheel. It just, yeah.
I made a comment to someone earlier because they were asking for some help, and it kind of might help here as well. The thing with games like Hades is that they are intentionally set up for you to play them in repetition. And so there is no such thing as a bad run. I like to think of them as I learned more stuff on this run. So I learned what works better. I learned what works well. I learned what things I don't like. In Hades 1, I will always be an Artemis stan, and there are plenty of people who hate Artemis, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But it really does come down to you figuring out what you like to do and what works for you and having a good time with that. A year clear will come. There's a boom combination out there that's waiting to find you just like you're looking to find it, and you'll get there. You will absolutely get there. Just keep on playing, keep having a good time, keep jamming out to those sweet, sweet Darren Korb tunes and those Ashley Barrett vocals. Keep admiring Gen Z's absolutely jaw-dropping and beautiful art. Y'all, Gen Z choose. Like, her art does not miss. There's just so much good going on here. There's no reason for you to play a game like this and be like, I am having a bad time, unless, it's just you don't like roguelikes, at which point, yeah, you will probably have a bad time, but that's because you just don't like the genre.
and I'll also say this as well, just for any game, not just Hades, but Dark Souls and other games. You know, you are not supposed to be good the minute you pick up this game. If you're not good, you know, practice. Like, I didn't just come out of the womb driving like this. I had to go and get my driver's license, and then, you know, a bunch of life events happened. Then I winded up here. But my point is practice. You're going to be bad when you first start. I was horrible at all the games I play, and I make fun of it. I have fun with it. And I just remember that if I'm bad at something, eventually I'll be good. I just need to put in the work and take the time and also look stuff up. Look stuff up. It makes just,
yes.
if you're having trouble, look stuff up.
I got a request for either a future UBAF or next year Juneteenth. I want to see you and J-Rock do a run of Hades 1. J-Rock, you know, using his feet, you on the steering wheel.
I'd be down.
Yes.
Yeah,
Hang on, I
see
got it.
like that.
Time out. I'm gonna steal a HotFix idea real fast.
Okay.
What's faster? Hades 1 with your feet.
Yes.
Hades 2 with your steering wheel.
Yes.
Oh,
Ship it,
I like that.
book it right
I like
now.
That.
Send it. Okay, good. Got it. I'm glad
Yes.
we're all on the same page. Good job, team. Wonderful meeting. And we will be adjourning after this run is done, and we'll be having snacks. Some of the old people will be taking naps or going to bed. And I appreciate your time. Thank you for that.
I'm one of the old people.
I like Chicago-style pizza as a snack, please.
Yes.
Oh, sensational.
I've got my natural
You trying to
Valley
go to sleep,
Pureed right next to me. So I'm ready.
Wait, you have your what puree?
My natural Valley Pureed. You know old people teeth can't eat that.
Hold on.
Wow.
Time out. Wait. What? Because isn't no, you know what? Actually, never mind. Never mind.
No,
never mind.
Thor, I have one question. I just have one
Go
question.
for it.
What the heck?
Listen, I don't know. ADHD brain go burr, okay? I don't know.
I have so many concerned questions. Thank you, Shampoo. Like, I'm just like, you're a what? You duh. Like, you don't get to say no old people teeth nonsense in here. You're talking to somebody who's closing the gap on a number I won't say because I don't feel like making Chad upset, and who's missing teeth. I don't want to hear it.
You know what?
I
Fair.
want to hear it.
All right, so we're going to go into this boss, and this is the final boss for this. This should close everything up. And this boss might take me a couple minutes because this boss likes to be tricky and move around a lot. The main thing about this boss is it can really destroy your health bar really quickly because she has long range. So you have to use these little pillars here to really hide away a lot of the time. And if you're not, you're going to get hurt. You will get murdered. Don't try and beat the system. Just hide. I promise. It works much better this way. All right, waiting for this because she will drop constant air bombs. Luckily, we're doing pretty decent on her health. We can really get a better sense of how she's working this. There we go.
Also, a couple people came to save you in chat. Some people said Nature Valley Puree is just oatmeal.
Oh.
And I regret to inform everyone that I can't contest that. I can't contest that.
Okay, defend it.
No, I'm not defending it either. You can't make me do something I don't want to do.
Okay, fair.
Wow.
All right, see that lava
Yo,
right there? That lava is
Wow.
awful. That's going to be my big issue here. I'm going to wait, hold, 3, 2, there it is. And now she should be half health. This is going to be where things get a little crazy and where I might lose a Death Defiance or two. We're still doing pretty good. We haven't lost a Death Defiance yet, but I'm going to stay out of her way because at this point, she's just going to start firing and going off, and she will nuke my health for 100 each time. So,
I want to make sure that I read that correctly, that this is twice now that she's got a double damage buff to herself.
yeah. Yep, you read that right.
Nasty work. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is why I'm
I didn't
like
know we were
really staying out of her way.
I didn't know we were deploying cheats. That's cool. That's cool.
But yeah,
And
Imagine.
if Thor's character dies, do you have to do the run all over again?
yes. If I die, I have to do the entire run all over. Now, just a quick oh my god, geez, hello,
Wow.
honey, can we not? When
She's very upset.
She is, probably because I've like zapped her a billion times with thunder. Oh, geez.
I know.
There's our
I know the
first step.
static in her clothes. Static in her clothes is out of control.
All right, when she
can't
dies,
walk
that'll be
nowhere.
time. When she dies, that'll be time. Oh, poop.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Okay, this should be the finale as long as I can get in and do that. 3, 2, 1. There it is.
Oh,
And
good job.
time. Oh,
Sensational. I just wanted to say too, she probably was deploying cheats because her gun looked like a water gun and she's upset about it.
you know what? Yep.
I'd be upset if I looked like I had a water gun too. You're supposed to be a god and you got a water gun. That's embarrassing.
I mean, she dealt a lot of damage with that water gun, and also that thing was spitting fire.
Actually, literally.
But, so there we go. That is Hades 2 on the steering wheel, both Surface and Underworld for where Early Access currently is. This was the first time doing it on a steering wheel for a event like this, and I just want to say thank you to all of you for coming out. I will let you all outro yourselves, and then I'll go myself.
There wasn't a number order this time, so I feel less like a doofus. But I'm going to go last because I'm the show host, so.
That's fair. Okay. Ash, you're first.
Okay. Thank you everyone for being here for this awesome Juneteenth run. My name is Ash, and I love playing retro games, but I also love watching cool, awesome games like this. And really big thank you to Thor and to everybody else that's commentating with me today. I really appreciate you all giving me the chance to be here. And thanks, and I hope you watch tomorrow because there's some really awesome runs coming up too. So have a wonderful evening, y'all.
Continuing from that, Thor, thank you for letting me on your virtual couch here. It was a blast and just mind blown. And I can't wait to see what else you bring to the next Juneteenth or UBAF, whatever comes. I can't wait to see it. And just as Ash echoed there or said, I'll echo that. Yeah, stay tuned for even more fantastic runs tomorrow with the Juneteenth special here.
And then that brings us to me. I am Pleasantly Twisted. I am not the show host, that's Ryyudo. I am your showrunner for Juneteenth and Unapologetically Black and Fast. Very big Hades fan, very big Thor fan, big fan of everyone on comms and on hosting duty right now. Big fan of all the runners that came out today. Y'all killed it. Congrats to people who got PBs. Congrats to people who got some world records, because I know that was a PB world record combo in some cases. And thank you so much, all of you, for giving us your time and showing us some really dope runs, some really great showcases, and just a lot of Black excellence. My skin is clear, my pores opened and refined, and I am going to sleep so good in probably like 3 hours because I know I'm tired, but I'm going to boot up Elden Ring after this. I'm not going to lie to myself. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me and revealing to the world that I was a big Hades buff once upon a time. I'm waiting for this to hit 1.0 and I'll probably hop right back in it, but it looks good so far, and I'm really excited to see what Supergiant does. I'm excited about it.
And lastly, everyone, thank you so much for coming out. My name is Thormungandr. If you want to see games like Elden Ring, you want to see games like Hades 2, you want to see pretty much anything played on a steering wheel, Donkey Kong bongos, DDR pads. We even have a Steel Battalion controller that we're going to be sent up for Armored Core 6. We got a lot of fun stuff. You don't want to come down. You can find me at Thormungandr on all socials. And on top of that, I want to say a big thank you to all the people on this couch because I never would have done this if it hadn't been for the UBAF at GDQ. And lastly, I want to use my last bit of time to say, please join the Twitch Black Guild. We want to get more people running in these events. If you have something fun, it doesn't have to be a speed run. It could be a challenge run. It could be something that you know a lot about the game. Please, if you have questions, message some of the people you see here. They might know how to connect you. And GDQ's got a website, so use it. But special thanks to GDQ staff. I know they want to get out of here, so I'm going to wrap it up. But thank you all for coming on out. It's been the greatest pleasure getting a chance to show you all this and share one of my favorite loves with all of you. So thank you very much. And everyone, have a wonderful night. And bring the thunder.
And take your meds.
Yes.
And drink water.
No, seriously, that was an incredible war on Thor. I'm just going to say you have to, pull over because that damage was too fat. That was absolutely incredible.
Wow.
Thank you so much for
Wow.
bringing us someone.
Wow.
Hey, PT, it's my
I know.
moment now. You lost
I know
yours.
it is. No, I
Thank
have
you
to
so
commend
much
you on that. That
for
was
doing such
amazing.
a great job. And seriously, everyone, thank you for hanging out with us for the entirety of the first day of Juneteenth GDQ. We are happy to have you all here. Now, I saw a little bit of a concern in the chat there from DeVille saying, "It's over? I just got here." Hey, don't worry about it. If you missed out on any of the runs from today, we're going to be replaying it all over again until we start up again tomorrow. Well, now officially, if you're East Coast today, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. So about literally 12 hours from now, just a little bit short of. We'll be back at it again with day 2 for Juneteenth with more speedrun action coming your way. But until then, get some rest, y'all. Get some food, y'all. Have a good time for whatever you do. Stay cute as always. And we'll see you again in 12 hours.